Hello. Yes. Excuse me. I just noticed for some reason my name says co-host.
I see.
It might have been, I was the first one to log in before you or anybody else. So I don't know, maybe the system automatically assigned that. Is there some way to change that? Oh, now it's gone.
I fixed it.
Gone. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to start, but I'm just going to share a few announcements in the beginning. So just a moment.
Nice to see you, Richard and Elaine.
Okay, so just a few announcements in the beginning. Our weekend celebration is coming up August 9th and 10th to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Dhamma-Vinaya. There will be more information coming into your inbox very soon on that. It seems like the in-person event will be on August 9th, and there will be an online event on August 10th. There's also a movie screening coming up in September, and there will be more information on that as well. And we are planning a day-long in-person in September as well. That is almost finished being planned, and there'll be more information on that as well to come practice with the Sangha in person in the Bay Area. There's also always volunteer opportunities. So you can volunteer in person, you can volunteer virtually. There are board positions, committee positions. So more information on that is on the website.
Paula,
and then, yes.
I couldn't see your sharing the PowerPoint.
Oh, can anyone see it? No?
No.
Oh, well, that's not very helpful if you can't see it. Why don't I try again at the end? So I'll go ahead and try again at the end. But so volunteer opportunities and then donations. I'll share all those slides again at the end and hopefully share my screen that time. So I'll pass it over to you, Aya. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Paula. So good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had your lunch already. Okay. So this afternoon, we're going to share to have a Dhamma discussion on the Sutta study session with a Sutta that we just this afternoon is Māgaṇḍiya Sutta. So do anyone remember what is the theme title today? Elaine?
Was that the title of the sutra or
the theme title of today? Richard?
No.
It is about living benefits of Dhamma-Vinaya in regards to health and Nibbāna. Yeah, so there's two aspects. Broadly, the benefits of keep the Dhamma-Vinaya that give benefits to health of oneself, and in ultimate sense, it support for the achievement of the Nibbāna. Okay. So I would like to share the screen for this sutta. And this time, let me see. Okay, put it here. We have Elaine here. We have Richard. We have Nancy and Chintana. We have Mima. Okay. So I would like all of us take part in reading this sutta. So I'll start with the first paragraph. Then after this, and then I would like you to take turn. So we come with Elaine after me, and then followed by Richard, and then Mima, and then Nancy, and Chintana. Okay. After we go through the sutta, then we could have a discussion on this. Do you have the sutta with you? So you can listen. Yeah. Okay. So this sutta is from Majjhima Nikaya, number 75, namely Māgaṇḍiya Sutta. This is a translation by Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. Thus have I heard, on one occasion, the Blessed One was living in the Kuru country, where there was a town of the Kurus named Kamasadhamma, on a spread of grass in the fire chamber of a Brahmin belonging to the Bharadraja clan. Then, when it was morning, the Blessed One dressed, and taking his bow and outer robe, went into Kamasadhamma for alms. When he had wandered for alms in Kamasadhamma city and had returned from his alms round, after his meal, he went to a certain grove for the day's abiding. Having entered the grove, he sat down at the root of a tree for the day's abiding. Then the wanderer Māgaṇḍiya, while walking and wandering for exercise, went to the fire chamber of the Brahmins belonging to the Bharadwaja clan. There he saw a spread of grass prepared and asked the Brahmin, "For whom has this spread of grass been prepared in Master Bharadwaja's fire chamber? It seems like it might be a recluse's bed." "Master Māgaṇḍiya, there is the recluse Gotama, the son of the Sakyans, who went forth from a Sakyan clan. Now, a good report of Master Gotama has been spread to this effect. That Blessed One is accomplished, fully enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, sublime, knower of words, incomparable, leader of persons, to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened, blessed. This bed has been prepared for that Master Gotama. Indeed, Master Bharadwaja, it is an ill sight we see when we see the bed of that destroyer of growth, Master Gotama. Be careful what you say, Māgaṇḍiya. Be careful what you say. Many learned nobles, learned Brahmins, learned householders, and learned recluses have full confidence in Master Gotama and have been disciplined by him in the noble true way, in the Dhamma that is wholesome. Master Bharadwaja, even if we saw that Master Gotama face to face, we would tell him to his face, the recluse Gotama is a destroyer of growth. Why is that? Because that has come down in our discourse. If Master Māgaṇḍiya has no objection, may I tell this to Master Gotama? Let Master Bharadwaja be at ease. Tell him just what I have said.
Would you like me to continue?
Yes. Let's go
Um,
down.
Okay.
Yeah, you may start.
Master Brojava. Where am I?
Meanwhile,
Okay. Meanwhile, the divine ear, which is purified and surpassed the human, the Blessed One heard this conversation between the Brahmin and the Bharjavaja clan and the wonder Māgaṇḍiya. Then, when it was evening, the Blessed One rose from meditation, went to the Brahmin's fire chamber, and sat down on the spread of grass made ready. Then the Brahmin of Bharadaja clan went to the Blessed One and exchanged greetings with him. When this courteous and amiable talk was finished, he sat down at one side. Blessed One asked him, Bharadaja, did you have any conversation with the wanderer Māgaṇḍiya about this very same spread of grass? When this was said, the Brahmin, awestruck, and with his hair standing on end, replied, "We wanted to tell Master Gotama about that very thing, but Master Gotama has anticipated us. But this discussion between the Blessed One and the Brahmin of the Bharavaja clan was left unfinished, for the wanderer Māgaṇḍiya, while walking and wandering for exercise, came to the Brahmin's fire chamber and went up to the Blessed One. He exchanged greetings with the Blessed One. And when this courteous and amiable talk was finished, he sat down at one side. Blessed One said to him, "Māgaṇḍiya, the eye delights in forms, takes delights in forms, rejoices in forms. That has been tamed by the Tathagata, guard it, protect it, restrained, and teaches the Dharma for its restraint. Was it with reference to this that you said the recluse Gotama is a destroyer of growth?" It was with reference to this, Master Gotama, that I said the recluse Gotama is a destroyer of growth. What is that? Because that is recorded in our scriptures. The ear delights in sounds, the nose delights in odors, the tongue delights in flavors, the body delights in tangibles, the mind delights in mind objects, takes delight in mind objects, rejoices in mind objects. That has been tamed by the Tathagata. Guard it, protect it, and restrained. And he teaches the Dharma for its restraint. Was it with reference to this that you said the recluse Gotama is the destroyer of growth? It was with reference to this, Master Gotama, that I said the recluse Gotama is a destroyer of growth. Why is that? Because that is recorded in our scriptures.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you so much. Okay. Can Richard, you please continue?
It was with
Thank you,
reference to this, Master Gotama, that I said the recluse Gotama is a destroyer of growth. Why is that? Because that is recorded in our scriptures. What do you think, Māgaṇḍiya? Here someone may have formerly enjoyed himself with forms cognizable by the eye that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. On a later occasion, having understood as they actually are the origin, the disappearance, the gratification, the danger, and the escape of the case of forms, he might abandon craving for forms, remove fever for forms, and abide without thirst, with a mind inwardly at peace. What would you say to him, Māgaṇḍiya? Nothing, Master Gotama. Pass.
Richard, please.
What do you think, Māgaṇḍiya? Here someone may have formerly enjoyed himself with sounds cognizable by the ear, with odors cognizable by the nose, with flavors cognizable by the tongue, with tangibles cognizable by the body that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. On a later occasion, having understood as they actually are the origin, the disappearance, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in the case of the tangibles, he might abandon craving for tangibles, remove fever for tangibles, and abide without thirst, with a mind inwardly at peace. What would you say to him, Māgaṇḍiya? Nothing, Master Gotama. Māgaṇḍiya, formerly when I lived the home life, I enjoyed myself provided and endowed with the 5 chords of sensual pleasure, with forms cognizable by the eye, with sounds cognizable by the ear, with odors cognizable by the nose, with flavors cognizable by the tongue, with tangibles cognizable by the body that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. I had 3 palaces, one for the rainy season, one for the winter, and one for the summer. I lived in the rains palace for the 4 months of the rainy season, enjoying myself with musicians, none of whom were men, and I did not go down to the lower palace. On a later occasion, having understood as they actually are, the origin, the disappearance, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in the case of sensual pleasures, I abandoned craving for sensual pleasures. I removed fever for sensual pleasures, and I abided without thirst, with a mind inwardly at peace. I see other beings who are not free from lust for sensual pleasures, being devoured by craving for sensual pleasures, burning with fever for sensual pleasures, indulging in sensual pleasures, and I do not envy them, nor do I delight therein. Why is that? Because there is, Māgaṇḍiya, a delight apart from sensual pleasures, apart from unwholesome states, which surpasses even divine bliss. Since I take delight in that, I do not envy what is inferior, nor do I delight therein.
Thank you, Richard. May I have Nancy, please?
Suppose, Māgaṇḍiya, a householder or a householder's son was rich, with great wealth and property, and being provided and endowed with the 5 chords of sensual pleasure, he might enjoy himself with forms cognizable by the eye, with sounds cognizable by the ear, with odors cognizable by the nose, with flavors cognizable by the tongue, with tangibles cognizable by the body that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. Having conducted himself well in body, speech, and mind, on the dissolution of the body after death, he might reappear in a happy destination, in the heavenly world, in the retinue of the gods of the 33. And there, surrounded by a group of nymphs in the Nandana grove, he would enjoy himself, provided and endowed with the 5 chords of divine sensual pleasure. Suppose he saw a householder or a householder's son enjoying himself, provided and endowed with the 5 chords of human sensual pleasure. What do you think, Māgaṇḍiya? Would that young god, surrounded by the group of nymphs in the Nandana grove, enjoying himself, provided and endowed with the 5 chords of divine sensual pleasure, envy the householder or the householder's son for the 5 chords of human sensual pleasure, or would he be enticed by human sensual pleasures? No, Master Gautama. Why not? Because divine sensual pleasures are more excellent and sublime than human sensual pleasures. So too, Māgaṇḍiya, formerly when I lived the home life, I enjoyed myself, provided and endowed with the 5 chords of sensual pleasure, with forms cognizable by the eye, with tangibles cognizable by the body that are wished for, desired, agreeable, and likable, connected with sensual desire and provocative of lust. On a later occasion, having understood as they actually are the gratification, the danger, and the escape in the case of sensual pleasures, I abandoned craving for sensual pleasures. I removed fever for sensual pleasures, and I abide without thirst, with a mind inwardly at peace. I see other beings who are not free from lust for sensual pleasures, being devoured by craving for sensual pleasures, burning with fever for sensual pleasures, indulging in sensual pleasures, and I do not envy them, nor do I delight therein. Why is that? Because there is, Māgaṇḍiya, a delight apart from sensual pleasures, apart from unwholesome states, which surpasses even divine bliss. Since I take delight in that, I do not envy what is inferior, nor do I delight therein.
Thank you, Nancy. And we have Mima.
Suppose, Māgaṇḍiya, there was a leper with sores and blisters on his limb, being devoured by worms, scratching the scabs off the openings of his wounds with his nails. cauterizing his body over a burning charcoal pit. Then his friends and companions, his kinsmen and relatives, would bring a physician to treat him. The physician would make medicine for him, and by means of that medicine, the man would be cured of his leprosy and would become well and happy, independent, master of himself, able to go where he likes. Then he might see another leper with sores and blisters on his limbs, being devoured by worms, scratching the scabs off the openings of his wounds with his nails, cauterizing his body over a burning charcoal pit. What do you think, Māgaṇḍiya? Would that man envy that leopard for his burning charcoal pit or for his use of medicine? No, Master Gautama. Why is that? Because when there is sickness, there is need for medicine, and when there is no sickness, there is no need for medicine. So too, Māgaṇḍiya, formerly when I lived the home life, since I take delight in that, I do not envy what is inferior, nor do I delight therein. Suppose, Māgaṇḍiya, there was a leper with sores and blisters on his limbs, being devoured by worms, scratching the scabs off the openings of his wounds with his nails, cauterizing his body over a burning charcoal pit. Then his friends and companions, his kinsmen and relatives, brought a physician to treat him. The physician would make medicine for him, and by means of that medicine, the man would be cured of his leprosy and would become well and happy, independent, master of himself, able to go where he likes. Then 2 strong men would seize him by both arms, and drag him towards a burning charcoal pit. What do you think, Māgaṇḍiya? Would that man twist his body this way and that? Yes, Master Gautama. Why is that? Because that fire is indeed painful to touch, hot and scorching. What do you think, Māgaṇḍiya? Is it only now that that fire is painful to touch, hot and scorching? Or previously too, was that fire painful to touch, hot and scorching? Master Gautama, that fire is now painful to touch, hot and scorching, and previously too, that fire was painful to touch, hot and scorching. For when the man was a leper with sores and blisters on his limbs, being devoured by worms, scratching the scabs off the openings of his wounds with his nails, his faculties were impaired. Thus, though the fire was actually painful to touch, he acquired a mistaken perception of it as pleasant. So too, Māgaṇḍiya, in the past, sensual pleasures were painful to touch, hot and scorching. In the future, sensual pleasures will be painful to touch, hot and scorching. And now, at present, sensual pleasures are painful to touch, hot and scorching. But these beings who are not free from lust for sensual pleasures, who are devoured by craving for sensual pleasures, who burn with fever for sensual pleasures, have faculties that are impaired. Thus, though sensual pleasures are actually painful to touch, they acquire a mistaken perception of them as pleasant. Suppose, Māgaṇḍiya, there was a leper with sores and blisters in his limbs, being devoured by worms, scratching the scabs off the openings of his wounds with his nails, cauterizing his body over a burning charcoal pit. The more he scratches the scabs and cauterizes the body, the fouler, more evil-smelling, and more infected the openings of his wounds would become. Yet he would find a certain measure of satisfaction and enjoyment in scratching the openings of his wounds. So too, Māgaṇḍiya, beings who are not free from lust for sensual pleasures, who are devoured by craving for sensual pleasures, who burn with fever for sensual pleasures, still indulge in sensual pleasures. The more such beings indulge in sensual pleasures, the more their craving for sensual pleasures increases, and the more they are burned by their fever for sensual pleasures. Yet they find certain measure of satisfaction and enjoyment in dependence on the 5 cords of sensual pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mima. Can we have Sharanya, please?
All right.
Thank
Suppose Māgaṇḍiya, where are we? What do you
What
think?
do you think, Māgaṇḍiya?
Good, Māgaṇḍiya.
What do you think?
Oh,
Yes.
what do you think, Māgaṇḍiya? Have you ever seen a herd of a king or a king's minister enjoying himself provided and endowed with the 5 cords of sensual pleasure, who, without abandoning craving for sensual pleasures, without removing fever for sensual pleasures, was able to abide free from thirst, with the mind inwardly at peace, or who's able or will be able to so abide. No, Master Gautama.
Thank
Good
you.
Māgaṇḍiya, I too have never seen or heard of a king or a king's minister enjoying himself, provided and endowed with the 5 cords of sensual pleasure, who, without abandoning craving for sensual pleasures, without removing fever for sensual pleasures, was able to abide free from thirst, with the mind inwardly at peace, or who is able or who will be able to so abide. On the contrary, Māgaṇḍiya, those recluses or Brahmins who abided or abide or will abide free from thirst and with the mind inwardly at peace, all do so after having understood as they actually are the origin, the disappearance, the gratification, the danger, and the escape in the case of sensual pleasures. And it is after abandoning craving for sensual pleasures and removing fever for sensual pleasures that they abide or will abide free from thirst, with the mind inwardly at peace.
Thank you, Sharanya. We would like to have Kasi for the last paragraph. Kasi, are you there? Drop the line. Okay, Sharanya, you please continue.
Yes, Saya. Then at that point, the Blessed One uttered this exclamation: "The greatest of all gains is health. Nibbāna is the greatest bliss. The Eightfold Path is the best of paths, for it leads safely to the deathless." When this was said, the wanderer Māgaṇḍiya said to the Blessed One, "It is wonderful, Master Gautama. It is marvelous how well that has been expressed by Master Gautama. The greatest of all gains is health. Nibbāna is the greatest bliss." But Māgaṇḍiya, when you
We
heard...
too have heard earlier.
There we go. We too have heard earlier wanderers who were teachers and teachers of teachers saying this, and it agrees, Master Gautama. But Māgaṇḍiya, when you heard earlier wanderers who were teachers and teachers of teachers saying this, what is that health? What is that Nibbāna? When this was said, the wanderer Māgaṇḍiya rubbed his own limbs with his hands and said, "This is that health, Master Gautama. This is that Nibbāna, for I am now healthy and happy, and nothing afflicts me." Māgaṇḍiya, suppose there was a man born blind who could not see dark and light forms, who could not see blue, yellow, red, or pink forms, who could not see what was even and uneven, who could not see the stars or the sun and the moon. He might hear a man with good eyesight saying, "Good indeed, sirs, is a white cloth, beautiful, spotless, and clean." And he would go in search of a white cloth. Then the man would cheat him with a dirty soiled garment thus: "Good man, here's a white cloth for you, beautiful, spotless, and clean." And he would accept it and put it on, being satisfied with it. He would utter words of satisfaction thus: "Good indeed, sirs, is the white cloth, beautiful, spotless, and clean." What do you think, Māgaṇḍiya? When that man born blind accepted that dirty, soiled garment, put it on, and being satisfied with it, uttered words of satisfaction thus: "Good indeed, sirs, is the white cloth, beautiful, spotless, and clean." Did he do so knowing and seeing, or out of faith in the man with good eyesight? Venerable Sir, he would have done so unknowing and unseeing, out of faith in the man with good eyesight. So to Māgaṇḍiya, the wanderers of other sects are blind and visionless. They do not know health, they do not see Nibbāna, yet they utter this stanza thus: The greatest of all gains is health. Nibbāna is the greatest bliss. This stanza was uttered by the earlier accomplished ones, fully enlightened ones, thus: the greatest of all gains is health. Nibbāna is the greatest bliss. The Eightfold Path is the best of paths, for it leads to safety, to the deathless. Now it has gradually become current among ordinary people, and although this body, Māgaṇḍiya, is a disease, a tumor, a dart, a calamity, and an affliction, referring to this body, you say, this is that health, Master Gautama, this is that Nibbāna. You do not have that noble vision, Māgaṇḍiya, by means of which you might know health and see Nibbāna.
Thank you, Sharanya. So I'll finish the rest. I have confidence in Master Gautama thus. Master Gautama is capable of teaching me the Dhamma in such a way that I can come to know health and to see Nibbāna. Māgaṇḍiya, suppose there was a man born blind who could not see dark and light forms, or the sun and moon. Then his friends and companions, his kinsmen and relatives would bring a physician to treat him. The physician would make a medicine for him, yet by means of that medicine, the man's vision would not arise or be purified. What do you think, Māgaṇḍiya? Would that doctor reap weariness and disappointment? Yes, Master Gautama. So too, Māgaṇḍiya, if I were to teach you the Dhamma, thus, this is that health, this is that Nibbāna. You might not know health or see Nibbāna, and that would be wearisome and troublesome for me. I have confidence in Master Gautama thus. Master Gautama is capable of teaching me the Dhamma in such a way that I can come to know health and to see Nibbāna. Māgaṇḍiya, suppose there was a man born blind who could not see dark and light forms, or the sun and moon. He might hear a man with good eyesight saying, "Good indeed, sirs, is a white cloth, beautiful, spotless, and clean." And he would go in search of a white cloth. Then a man would cheat him with a dirty soiled garment thus: "Good man, here is a white cloth for you, beautiful, spotless, and clean." And he would accept it and put it on. Then his friends and companions, his kinsmen and relatives would bring a physician to treat him. The physician would make medicine, emetics, and purgatives, ointment and counter ointments and nasal treatment, and by means of that medicine, the man's vision would arise and be purified. Together with the rising of his vision, his desire and liking for that dirty soiled garment would be abandoned. Then he might burn with indignation and enmity towards that man, and might think that he ought to be killed thus. Indeed, I have long been tricked, cheated, and defrauded by this man with this dirty soiled garment when he told me, "Good man, here's a white cloth for you, beautiful, spotless, and clean." So too, Māgaṇḍiya, if I were to teach you the Dhamma thus, this is that health, this is that Nibbāna, you might know health and see Nibbāna. Together with the rising of your vision, your desire and lust for the five aggregates affected by clinging might be abandoned. Then perhaps you might think, indeed, I have long been tricked, cheated, and defrauded by this mind. For when clinging, I have been clinging just to material form. I have been clinging just to feeling. I have been clinging just to perception. I have been clinging just to formations. I have been clinging just to consciousness. With my clinging as condition, being comes to be. With being as condition, birth. With birth as condition, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair come to be. Such is the origin of this whole mass of suffering. I have confidence in Master Gautama thus. Master Gautama is capable of teaching me the Dhamma in such a way that I might rise up from this seat cured of my blindness. Then Māgaṇḍiya, associate with true men. When you associate with true men, you will hear the true Dhamma. When you hear the true Dhamma, you will practice in accordance with the true Dhamma. When you practice in accordance with the true Dhamma, you will know and see for yourself. Thus, these are disease, tumors, and darts. But here, this disease, tumors, and darts cease without remainder. With the cessation of my clinging comes cessation of being. With the cessation of being, cessation of birth. With the cessation of birth, aging and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair cease. Such is the cessation of this whole mass of suffering. When this was said, the wanderer Māgaṇḍiya said, Magnificent Master Gotama, magnificent Master Gotama. Master Gotama has made the Dhamma clear in many ways, as though he were turning upright what had been overthrown, revealing what was hidden, showing the way to one who was lost, or holding up a lamp in the dark for those with eyesight to see forms. I go to Master Gotama for refuge, and to the Dhamma and to the Sangha of bhikkhus. I will receive the going forth under Master Gotama. I will receive the full admission. Māgaṇḍiya, one who formerly belonged to another sect and desires the going forth and the full admission in these Dhamma and disciplines, lives on probation for 4 months. At the end of 4 months, if the bhikkhus are satisfied with him, they give him the going forth and the full admission to the bhikkhu state. But I recognize individual differences in this matter. Venerable Sir, if those who formerly belong to the another sect and desire to going forth and the full admission in this Dhamma and discipline live on probation for 4 months, and if at the end of the 4 months the bhikkhus being satisfied with them give them the going forth and the full admission to the bhikkhu state, then I will live on probation for 4 years. At the end of the 4 years, if the bhikkhus are satisfied with me, let them give me the going forth and the full admission to the bhikkhu state. Then the wanderer Māgaṇḍiya received the going forth under the Blessed One, and he received the full admission. And soon, not long after his full admission, dwelling alone, withdrawn, diligent, ardent, and resolute, the Venerable Māgaṇḍiya, by realizing for himself, with direct knowledge, here and now, entered upon and abided in that supreme goal of the holy life, for the sake of which clansmen rightly go forth from the home life into homelessness. He directly knew birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done, there's no more coming to any state of being. And the Venerable Māgaṇḍiya became one of the Arahats. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, everyone, for sharing this sutta together. Now, I would like to let us have 10 minutes short meditation before we start the discussion. Yeah. So I will ring the bell before we start. So please sit comfortably with a posture that's suitable for you. Straight up the spinal cord, and relax the shoulder. Breathing in gently and breathing out. Release the tense of the body. And put aside all the thoughts for a moment. Let the mind be quiet. Focus on the breath. Breathing in gently. And breathing out. Relax the body. We'll do it for 10 minutes. Now we have come to the end of the sitting session for 10 minutes. Please bring your breath, please bring your mind gently back to the body. And open your eyes when you are ready. So, good afternoon, everyone. Before we start this discussion, I would like to invite everyone to recite Namo Tassa for 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Welcome, Daniel, Elaine. Hi.
Hello, thank you.
Nice to see you.
Good to
Richard,
see you.
Nancy, Mima, Charanya, and Cassie. Yeah, so before the sitting meditation, we had gone through the Sutta. Yeah, Daniel, if you have read that, good. Okay, so when I read the Sutta, what comes to my mind is that I think the first thing is about right view. Right view. You can find that in the Sutta, the Māgaṇḍiya repeatedly he said, why he see the recluse Gotama is the destroyer of the growth, because he heard it from his teachers, even his teachers' teachers, generation to generation, written in their discourse. And what they take as health and Nibbāna for them is this material body, yeah, enjoyed in this sensual pleasure. Therefore, they see recluse Gotama is a destroyer, because the recluse Gotama teach about restraint in the sensual pleasure, to abandon it, to tame the sensual pleasure, desire. So we know that there is 6 senses faculty: eye faculty, ear faculty, nose faculty, tongue, body, and the mind faculty, right? And for the worldly being, usually, the eyes will take delight in the form, and the ears take delight in sound, and the nose take delight in odors, tongue take delight in flavors, and the body we like to take delight in tangible things, sensual pleasure, and we like the mind, our mind like to take delight in the mind object. But the Buddha say all this we need to have restraint. For the homeless one, for aim, for the Nibbāna, we need not only to restrain, but to completely abandon it to the practice. But for householder, like you all here, so to have some kind of restraint, that's good enough. And I do not think that everyone here of you would like to abandon at all. No? Perhaps you want to keep some, but to some extent you have a restraint, like you keeping well your 5 precepts. Yes. If you would like to abandon all, I would welcome you to come to the monastic life. Yeah? Yeah. Then there's a good potential for your cultivation up to Nibbāna. But if you would like to keep those sensual pleasure desire to some extent within the scope of the restraint, that's fine enough. Stay in householder life, right? So here I see the first thing is the right view is important. Māgaṇḍiya at the beginning, he will see the Buddha, the Gautama recluse, as a destroyer because of the wrong view. Seeing that sensual pleasure desire without limit is something good and should have. Yeah. And then I see the Buddha give a very good simile about the heaven bliss and the human pleasure, sensual pleasure. In comparison to that, the human realms being would not have envy or jealousy or delight in the human realms pleasure, sensual pleasure, because they got something more subtle than the human realm, right? More enjoyable than human realm. And compared to the Buddha himself, who has knowing the danger of unrestrained sensual pleasure desire, we see the danger and see the potential of escape from that he already abandoned that. He stay in the bliss that even higher than the heaven realm. And he give a simile about a leper with sores and blister on his limb. One who has recovered from that, they would not like, to back to it, to enjoy anymore. Who has no sickness, they do not need medicine anymore. Only who has sick need the medicine. I remember in one sutta, the Roga Sutta, the Buddha said in this world, there are two kinds of sickness. One is physical, bodily sickness. Another one is mental, the mind sickness. And during the Buddha time, the Buddha said people can live like even 100 years, over than 100 years easily. Because at that time we see like in India, Ayurvedic are very popular, the treatment, and people can live long as a body very healthy, but not the mind. The Buddha said not even a single moment that the human beings can have then free from the disease of the mind. That means living beings, human beings that born in this samsara, we have the lobha, dosa, moha. We have the greed, aversion, and delusion mind. That's what causes sickness in the mind. And the Buddha also said, human beings in this world are crazy. The first time when I read, I say, oh, Buddha said human beings are crazy. Udmada, the Pali word. Why is crazy? Because they have this disease of greed, aversion, delusion. And they might do many things. Because of that defilement, people can do many things that out of your, what you can reason, Depends on the degree of the disease they have. Maybe Richard, Daniel, Elaine, Nancy, Mima, Sharanya, Kasi here has maybe very, very light disease, not so strong, not those to that extent that like what the Buddha described as crazy, is a different level of every individual in this world. Some of people, they really can do many, many crazy things that you could not expect. So the Buddha also say he has his own experience. This is his life experience that he himself, when he was a householder, he stayed in a palace. He has enjoyed those sense of pleasure, He has all that. But then he abandoned. He see the danger. He see the arising and disappearing. Means he see the impermanence of those sensual pleasure, and he let go of that to cultivate his mind, to overcome that, to go beyond that, because he see there's danger and impermanent and bring a lot of suffering. Even as a householder, we know that if there is no limit, no restraint of sensual pleasure, desire, that's also bring a lot of suffering to ourselves, to our family members, to our loved one, right? So this is two aspects. One is for mental health. Another aspect is, if we go further, this is for Nibbāna. I see this is the benefits of keeping the Dhamma-Vinaya. Vinaya, in a sense here for householder, is the precepts, at least the 5 precepts. Can keep you healthy, mentally healthy. Otherwise, the disposition of this greediness will expand and become stronger and stronger without limitation. Then we have problem in life, many issues in family, in oneself. Yeah. And we always chase after those sensual pleasure is no ending. When thing, we can have sensual pleasure, delight, maybe certain time for a short period of time, it will change. And then you feel boring. And then you chase for another one. You're excited in that, you enjoy. After some time, you feel boring, change again. And then you change, you look for someone else again and again. So just like the slave of the feeling, no ending. So until when you're getting old, getting sick, and when you cannot get those delight and pleasure, then you feel disappointed, distressed. Then there's a lot of hatred, dislike in the mind. So it's good to have some restraint. With that, we also cultivate containment with what we have, containment with the loved one who around us. We appreciate, with gratitude, have gratitude on them that will help in cultivate more wholesome mind state in facing daily life and facing the difficulty in life. Yeah, I think to make the mind strong in a positive way. What do you think about this sutta? Perhaps I will invite Elaine. What's your thought about this?
I think it's a very relevant sutra. It made me think about, mostly I'm satisfied, but lately I appreciate what's around me a lot more. I really like traveling. I not do that right now. I look at people and I still have a bit of that. But in having a peaceful mind and looking around what I have now, I'm more content. This was a really good sutra because it pointed out that a calm, content mind is worth more than any trip or gold or anything. So I really liked it.
Sadhu, sadhu. I would like to invite Daniel.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I liked about it. One is, you know, as humans, it can be somewhat easy for us to look at other people and think they have so much more than us, they have it so much better than us, they have more money or power or possessions or whatever. And it shows up in this sutta, but also in other ones too, where the Buddha talks about how on earth, we're scrambling around for more pleasure, more power, or whatever, and the devas are looking down at us saying, "Oh, they'll never have it as good as we do. We have it, even the lowest of us, even the most insignificant of us, have it better than the best human." And I like to, the sutta talks about that some, and I like to remember that, for perspective, right? In terms of like, even the best sensory experience, sort of physical enjoyment you can enjoy here is really pretty mediocre, cosmically speaking. And I thought about what the Buddha had said in the sutta as well, where he says, the reason I don't chase after all these sensual pleasures like other people is because of how much more joyful Nibbāna is. I don't even really think about those things. Why would I go after sensual pleasures having attained enlightenment like this? And I think that's an important perspective to have.
Yes, the Buddha not envy in that and also not delight in that, because it experienced it before more than what these Māgaṇḍiya they have experienced. He's not saying this out of envy, but just telling them that what he has realized, has gone through and experienced. And he see the danger in that, because how much you can get the sensual pleasure, and is it that it will not change? No, right? Always changing and will end. What make the mind inwardly more peaceful and bliss? The bliss is more pleasant even than the sensual pleasure itself. The contentment, you feel peace in the mind. The mind is calm and quiet, no chasing after the pleasure of the sense that make you like, if you look at the pets chasing after the food, oh, like crazy. The behavior, just like, okay, how about Richard? I think you have a lot to share with us, Richard.
I saw Elaine had her hand up. And maybe
Let me see.
go with Elaine. Oh, she put it down now, but a second ago.
Who is that? Nancy?
I did
Oh,
put
Elaine.
it back up.
Okay.
I did put it back up. Lately, I've been thinking about why are bad people reborn rich? And I thought, well, if you're a stream enterer, then you're not reborn in this life, right? And I thought what I'm trying to say is if you follow the Dharma and you practice the Dharma, then if you get reborn again, it should be under better circumstances. So I was thinking about bad rich people, and I was wondering why a bad rich person would get to be born under those circumstances. But I do understand that if you have a peaceful mind, it's worth much, much more under any circumstances, and it's more dependable than if you're born rich. But I'm not sure if I've explained that properly, but I'm just wondering about your view.
Thank you, Elaine. Actually, the stream enter do reborn in human realm. Its possibility is there. So stream enter, the most will reborn again for 7 times. Yeah, before attain arahatship. So about the well, one who birth as a wealthy person in compared to someone who have the calmness in nature. Sure, we prefer the second. But as we talk about karma, the karma have different level. It depends on the heaviness or lightness of the karma. So it's not saying that like in this life, if Elaine do a lot of generosity and cultivation, and the next life after the last breath of Elaine in this life would reborn in the heavenly realm or back to human realm, not animal realm, not take rebirth in the health. It is not like after this passing away in this life, that you can take directly rebirth in the pleasant realm because of the merits of this life. It depends on the heaviness or lightness of the karma itself. It might be after 3 lifetime of rebirth, then you can have those pleasant rebirth in pleasant realm. It depends on the karma when it get ripened. Which one ripe first? No? If we have a very heavy unwholesome karma that ripen at this life, at the end of the last breath, then possible we take rebirth in unpleasant realm. You know, it is a matter of the time when the karma ripe.
I guess even though if you are reborn rich, it doesn't mean that you don't suffer, because obviously
right.
you do suffer.
Do suffer. Rich people, wealthy people also have many problems in their mind, in their life. Sometimes people are rich in material, but hollow in the heart, you know? Yes. And then at that time, we ask ourselves, why I feel like this? Because wealthy is not equals to happiness.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.
Yes, Richard, would you like to say something?
Thank you, Aya. Yes, in the beginning, in paragraph number 9, where the Buddha begins to discuss things with Māgaṇḍiya, and he talks about someone who's enjoying the senses and everything.
Yes.
And then it says, on a later occasion, having understood as they actually are, the origin and the disappearance. Now, these first two, there's 5 things here he's going to mention. These first 2, this is stream entry. Because when one attains stream entry, many times in the suttas, starting from the very first stream entry, Kundana, they realize that all dhammas subject to arising are subject to cessation. So he's referring here to, he's penetrated the stream entry, and then the next 3, the gratification, the danger, and the escape, are the training of the mind that you do at that point, examining everything to keep freeing yourself more and more and more from any Dhamma manifesting in the world. That's just simply going to ultimately end up in dukkha. You know, if you indulge in them. That's one point I wanted to make. Another point was at the end, when he's talking to Māgaṇḍiya about, well, if I teach you this, you might become upset. You know, he gives the example of the blind man where, you know, he's given a dirty cloth, told, okay, here's a beautiful white cloth, and things like that. And he might become upset and angry when he finds out the real truth. It's because all of us are under the influence of avijja, commonly translated as ignorance. I prefer incomplete knowledge. So if one breaks through to the Dharma, one should not have negative feelings towards others, even those that taught them in different ways about the world or whatever, you know, that the world is enjoyable and all that. One should only have happiness towards the fact that now they're bound towards achieving Nibbāna and freeing themselves completely from dukkha. The other thing is that this Māgaṇḍiya, he comes in, he criticizes the Buddha, saying that he's the destroyer of growth. The Brahmins have an idea. It's called Dhamma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And Dhamma is the first thing. When you're born, you're trained in your family's activities, wherever they are, and that's your Dharma. You learn the Dharma. Then Artha means economic development. You apply that learning and training to go on with that profession and develop yourself, get the things of the world. And then when you have the things of the world, you have karma, you can enjoy those things, right? And then finally, supposedly in your old age, as your body health and everything begins to wane, then you turn towards moksha, all right? So that's considered growth in that Brahminical Vedic teaching, that you follow those things. Whereas the Buddha is saying, no, you understand the Dharma and you give all that up and you go for moksha. And that's why he's criticizing the Buddha, and he's saying, that he's a destroyer of growth, because he's skipping those two things in the middle of that artha and kama. Anyways, that's my view. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Richard. Yeah, it's true that, when we read this sutta, we see it talks about the arising and disappearing. In that part, the gratification and the danger of that. Like in our daily life, if we just listen to Dhamma talk and we read through the sutta ourselves, I think that is very limited, in a sense that I would encourage each and everyone here to really spend enough amount of time in the meditation, especially in Vipassana meditation, where you can, the Buddha say to Māgaṇḍiya, you're not just listen to what I say to you, but some people, they follow, they say, oh, reclusus Gautama, what you say is very true. I have confidence in you. But the Buddha say, you have confidence is because you have a faith, very strong faith in the teaching, but do you really knowing and seeing it for yourself? How to really know and see for yourself? Unless you practice it and you experience it, right? If we just read the sutta through, and if you just listen to the Dhamma, that faith that arises is good, supportive for the, to kick off, to start the practice of doing generosity, keeping the 5 precepts, helping in the monastery. But do we see and know by ourselves? We haven't yet. Unless we practice, we do the meditation, then we see for ourselves. I think this is something very precious because, in this world, there's many views, especially in the scholarship, in the education, in the Buddhist university even, you can learn a lot. But about the truth, about the reality, we need to experience ourselves. Then you really, really can have the true confidence in the Dhamma. Then you start to realize, oh, this is not what just the Buddha said, but this is the reality of the universe. It's like that. The Buddha just discovered and say it out. This is not because what the Buddha said and I have confidence in that, but that this is because this is the law of the universe. Then you begin to see it for yourself, then the mind would never shake. And being very confident in the truth. So like, if after like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we are here together to do the sutta study, only how far we can go. But this is just the knowledge that help us to pursue the path for the next step, do the meditation of Vipassana, then to see it for yourself. You need to see it. The Buddha do say, don't believe in what I say. Don't believe in what the teacher say. For the first step, you listen, you have the knowledge, you listen to Dhamma talk, you read the sutta, first step. But further, you need to see it for yourself. If we just, do the sutta study for 10 years, 20 years, we are still here, go nowhere. it is good. Something which we should encourage the Sutta study together, discussion together. We have this very good friend to have time to discuss together something wholesome. But we can do more than that in our practice. The second level, even more important. We do not want to always stay in the first level for 10 years, 20 years, right? I think, Elaine, you have something to say?
Thought it was interesting too how Buddha told Māgaṇḍiya,
yeah.
Māgaṇḍiya. Māgaṇḍiya thought that he had understood that he was healthy, but Buddha said, no, not yet. You really haven't got it, right? I think it's important to realize how much other groups have borrowed from Buddha. And at one point, I thought, I'm hearing bits of Buddhism from everybody else. Why don't I go to the source, right? And that's what drew me in. This getting together like this is my only way to get together with other Buddhists. So I really appreciate this. And it does help me remember as the day goes on, as the week goes on. So it's an important touch point for me. Thank you.
Most welcome, Elaine. I think we come to the end of the session, 2:30 now. The time passed very fast. And hopefully we will meet again next week. If not, in future, yeah? So I would like to invite everyone to share the merits of today, of reading the Sutta and the reflection, and hope if what we discussed here, if we can apply in our practice, that would make a little change. Yeah, and would make a great change in future after, after some time of this accumulation of practice, that if happen, the change from today onwards to go to the second level, or maybe you're already there, then I'm glad with that, to keep going. Yeah, we do want to share the merits with everyone here, your loved one, family members, and your friends, and also to all the beings around that seen and unseen. And to those beings who are waiting for taking new rebirths, may they have a good rebirth in the human realm or in the Deva realm, and could listen to the Dhamma and continue further progress in the Dhamma until the final liberation, free from all kind of suffering. May they delight in the Dhamma. Yatha varivahapura paripurinti sagaram evam eva ito dinam petanang upakapati unname udakang watang yathaninang pawatati evam eva ito dinam petanang upakapati Chitang platitang twiham kipamewa samijatu sabbe purintu cita sankapa jando panyarase yatha manijo tiraso yatha Buddha sasanam chirang titatu Buddha sasanam chirang titatu Buddha sasanam chirang titatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Do you enjoy your weekend? Have a nice day. See you next week. Bye.
Thank you,
Arya.
Aya.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.